As a Christian, I've come to understand that life was never promised to be easy. Jesus said in John 16:33, "In this world you will have trouble, but take heart, I have overcome the world." These words have become more than just a Bible verse to me. They have become my anchor during storms. There was a time in my life when everything felt like it was falling apart. Finances were tight. Relationships were breaking, and deep inside, I was questioning God's plan for me. I prayed, but it felt like heaven was silent. I cried, but there was no immediate comfort. I began to ask, "God, are you really with me?" But that's where faith had to rise. Faith is not about having all the answers. It's about trusting even when we don't understand. I held on to Romans 8:28. And we know that all things work together for good to those who love God. I didn't know how, but I chose to believe that God would turn my pain into purpose. Slowly, God began to open my eyes. The job I lost, it led me to a better one that aligned with my passion. The people who walked away, they made room for those who genuinely supported me. And the nights I felt alone, they became moments where I felt God the closest. Faith didn't remove the pain, but it gave me the strength to keep going. It reminded me that I wasn't alone. God was walking with me even when I couldn't see Him. Today, I speak not as someone who has all the answers, but as someone who has walked through fire and came out refined. My challenges didn't break me, they built me. And it was only by God's grace. So if you're facing challenges right now, don't give up. Don't lose hope. Your story is still being written. And just like God did it for me, He can do it for you too. I want to be real with you about what that faith looked like in practice. Because faith is not just a feeling. It's a choice. It's a daily walk. As a Christian, I learned that building faith in difficult times means choosing God over fear, even when it's hard. Here are some practical steps I took that helped me hold on even when life didn't make sense. 1. I made prayer personal and honest. I stopped trying to sound spiritual in prayer and just poured my heart out to God. Some days, all I could say was, "Lord, help me." And that was enough. God doesn't need long speeches. He wants our hearts. Psalm 34:18 says, "The Lord is close to the brokenhearted." I learned that I didn't have to hide my pain from Him. He already saw it. 2. I stayed in the Word, even when I didn't feel like it. There were days when opening my Bible felt heavy, but I would still read, even if it was just one verse. God used His Word to remind me of His promises. I clung to scriptures like Isaiah 41:10. "Do not fear, for I am with you." Each verse became a light in the darkness. 3. I surrounded myself with the right voices. I had to stop listening to people who fed my fear and doubt. I started listening to sermons, worship music, and uplifting messages. I joined a small prayer group online. That community helped me feel seen, even when I felt invisible. 4. I chose to thank God, even in the middle of the storm. Gratitude doesn't mean denying your pain. It means focusing on what's still good, even in the bad. I began every morning with one thing I was grateful for. Slowly, my heart shifted from heaviness to hope. These steps didn't make my problems disappear overnight, but they gave me strength. They helped me walk with God, not just talk about Him. As a Christian, I've come to see that God never wastes pain. What felt like the end of me was actually the beginning of something new. In part 2, I shared the small steps that helped build my faith in the middle of struggle. But now, I want to show you how God took my brokenness and turned it into something beautiful. There's a verse in 2 Corinthians 12:9 that says, "My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness." At first, I didn't fully understand that. How could weakness ever be a good thing? But over time, I realized something powerful. When I ran out of strength, that's when God showed up the strongest. He began to use my story, the struggles, the tears, the pain, to encourage others. One day, someone came to me and said, "I don't know how you made it through that, but your story gives me hope." That's when it clicked. My testimony wasn't just for me, it was for someone else too. God used my disappointment to teach me patience. He used my waiting season to grow my character. He used my loneliness to draw me closer to His presence. And because of what I went through, I now speak with more compassion. I listen deeper. I pray harder. My pain didn't destroy my faith. It deepened it. Maybe right now you're wondering why God is allowing you to go through what you're facing. Can I encourage you? He's not punishing you. He's preparing you. Every trial is shaping you for your calling. Every tear is watering a seed of purpose. If I had never faced hardship, I wouldn't have discovered how real God's love is. If I had never been broken, I wouldn't have known how fully He could restore me. As a Christian, I always believed in God, but it wasn't until I went through the storm that I truly knew Him. In the beginning, I saw God as someone I prayed to, but through my challenges, I discovered Him as someone who walks with me, step by step, moment by moment. In the hardest seasons of my life, I learned what intimacy with God really means. I began to feel His presence not just in church, but in my tears, in the silence, in the stillness of early mornings when I had no words left. He was there. Psalm 23 became more than a beautiful psalm. It became my reality. Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Yes, the valley was real, the pain was real, but so was His presence. Looking back, I realized the greatest blessing wasn't that my problems got solved. It was that I met God in a deeper way. He became my refuge, my healer, my guide. And now, I don't just know about God, I know Him, personally, deeply. Here's what I want you to remember. Faith isn't about a perfect life. It's about holding on even when life isn't perfect. It's about trusting a perfect God in an imperfect world. And you don't have to be strong every day. You just have to be willing to lean on Him, willing to believe that He's working behind the scenes, willing to walk with Him even when the path doesn't make sense. My journey isn't over. Challenges will still come, but now I face them differently because I know who walks beside me. If you're going through a hard season right now, don't give up. God is closer than you think. Keep the faith. Keep walking because your story isn't finished. It's just beginning.